morning. Good morning, everyone. And once again, it's wonderful to see you here. Faculty, staff, students, partners, gather for what has become an important time, an important event during our annual cycle, which is the kickoff of Research and Innovation Week and the State of Research. This gathering to me is much more than just giving updates. It's just a moment for me or us to sort of to think back and take stock of what we've accomplished, the obstacles that we've overcome, and most importantly, what lies ahead as an opportunity. When I think about CU Boulder's research and innovation enterprise, and I want to describe it with one word, the word that I think first is resilience. Over the past year, we've experienced extraordinary challenges. Funding disruptions, shifting priorities, we're in a shutdown. At every turn, our community has responded with the willing to adapt, to innovate. It has responded with the willing to collaborate and with compassion for one another. So to me, resilience doesn't just mean our ability to endure. It really means our ability to adapt, to innovate, and most importantly, to lead. It's reflective of our commitment to excellence and to impact. So this is why I think resilience best describes our research enterprise today. So as we move through this conversation, I'm going to share some charts and data and so on. I invite you to think beyond those. I really want you to think about the people that are beyond those numbers. I want you to think about the partnerships that are beyond those numbers and what they do and the purpose of these partnerships and how the people and the partnership, the collaborations, make this enterprise continue to thrive and to be among the very top in the nation. So here's what I'll cover today. I'll begin by talking about the federal actions, how we responded, and where we are today. I'll talk about how we're meeting the challenges that we're facing and looking at the impact of our research, our scholarship, and our creative work. And finally, some closing thoughts from me. So if you haven't noticed, we're in the midst of a shutdown that started on October 1st. We have been, the federal shutdown is obviously very important to us because 70% of our funding comes from federal sources. We have been communicating and working tirelessly to monitor changes and how the situation evolves over time. So I invite you to keep updated on our federal funding webpage through CU Boulder Today, emails that we're sending. I would say the impact to us so far has been relatively modest. However, as I said, this is an evolving situation. And I also want to send some thoughts and express my concern for our federal partners that we work so closely with here in Boulder and across the nation. So in terms of impact on our awards, this is almost the latest information as of last week. We have 54 awards that have been either canceled or under a stop work order. You can see the distribution in terms of sources and agencies these awards come from. And we keep updating this. And I would say that we've been successful at reinstating 16 awards that were canceled. And that's also heartening to see. So just to put it in perspective, I indicated 58 grants that have been canceled. 16 grants have been restated. And this amounts to approximately $30 million in funding that was lost. And just again, to keep it in perspective, I believe that we have about 3,700 awards over a year. The funding that this corresponds to is about 6% of our federal awards last year in FY24, about 4% of either both our awards or our research expenditures. So from that perspective, you could say the impact has been limited. And it's true, it's been limited across the board. However, behind these percentages, which are relatively small, there are real people, real professional faculty, students and staff whose careers have been heavily impacted. And our community has responded. So since the spring, we opened up a portal to share the impact stories, and we had 156 impact stories shared on this portal, which is really important. Our community is there. They want to tell their story. They want to communicate the impact of the work, how important the work is, and how important that is the work that needs to be done. We've also been heavily and deeply engaged in pushing back and reacting to this. So we've worked closely with the Attorney General of Colorado in legal actions against the NSF grants cancellation, the F&A cap by NIH. We've submitted formal appeals for grants cancellation. We continue to do so. These are the list of agencies we've submitted appeals, and as I said, some of these appeals were successful. And we've participated jointly with our professional organizations, AAU, APLU, ACE, in supporting their legal challenge to the F&A cap, and we submitted declarations of impact in support of these. So I'm really proud of how the university has responded and continues to respond and to be supportive of our community in this space. We work very closely with our colleagues in government, the Office of Government Relations, and this is just a list of actions and engagements that we had with our congressional delegation. From communicating to Senator Hickenlooper and Bennett about the importance of sponsors like NOAA and NASA that have made some difference. Congressman Neguse has been always open and a great supporter of ours. But also, more importantly, we've been able to engage and work with all of the delegation from both sides of the aisle, and that's been really important. And it's been a core piece of the strategy that the university has taken. We are also actively monitoring what the professional organizations are working on in terms of promoting and proposing a new model for the recovered or indirect costs. So this is the FAIR model that's been again developed through a number of the professional organizations that we belong to and participate with, that is seeking to create a more transparent, easy to understand model, more efficient model. And this is a national effort that we follow very closely, and it's being communicated with the Office of Management, OMB, and Budget, OSTP, and Congress. And what the universities and the professional organizations are asking for is time and the ability to provide input to be able to articulate what the needs are of a research enterprise to be sustainable and successful. So this is ongoing, but it's a really big conversation that we need to be aware of that is happening. So areas to watch, you probably are reading in the news the impact on education, how grants have been canceled or refocused and shifted in other directions. In the arts and humanities, we have read how thousands of grants have been canceled at a national level from NEH and NEA, and a lot of the staff has been laid off in those agencies, as well as funding has been shifted towards different priorities that we typically see. As you also have seen, that the presidential budget request has proposed some pretty drastic changes in budgets in support of NASA, NOAA, National Science Foundation, in particular the social science and behavioral sciences at NSF have been targeted. And the good things so far is that Congress, in some cases, is pushing back. So the House bills and the Senate bills are trying to reestablish funding levels at reasonable levels. The Senate is really trying to maintain the levels that were at historical levels, so where they are today. Of course, we don't know where this is going until we're in a shutdown. We won't know how the appropriation cycle will evolve, but that's an encouraging sign that Congress is kind of stepping up in preserving the status of funding of research and creative work and scholarship. Meanwhile, the administration has issued a memo outlining the priorities, their funding or the research and development priorities. The memo was issued, I believe, on September 23rd, and it outlines 5 big buckets of priorities. And these span from critical and emerging technologies, that includes quantum and AI and manufacturing, preserving energy dominance, so looking at diverse sources of energy, including nuclear and fossil fuels in efficient ways. Obviously, there's a shift there, and we're aware of that shift. But also boosting exploration in polar ocean environments in support of our energy goals. Strengthening Americans' security, so next generation defense systems and resilience against cyber, biological, and environmental threats to the national infrastructure are all areas that are emphasized or will be emphasized. Safeguarding health and biotechnologies and assuring continued space dominance. Looking at exploration of Mars and Moon, in-space infrastructure, advanced propulsion, and partnership with commercial ventures. So while we've had some challenges, I would say, if you look at these and if you look at our areas of expertise, you can see also that there are strong areas of opportunities for us. These are areas that, many of these areas, we're really well known for, and we're leading in the nation. So things that we want to watch for, and we continue to watch, of course, is the shutdown development. There are a number of upcoming court decisions on legal challenges that have been ongoing, and then the appropriation cycle that will ensue and result from the conversation and what the budget will come up, and then some of the executive orders that have come up recently in the last 4 or 5 months. One is on gold standard in science, establishing or asking to have a conversation or to initiate a national conversation about the trust in science. The America's AI Action Plan, it's a very comprehensive plan of AI infrastructure and also some research and development there. And of course, the concerning one, of course, among the others, is the improving oversight of federal grant-making executive order that it's giving us a lot of pause and concern to watch for. But I would say, like I said, the opportunities are there, and we need to think about how we are best prepared to meet the challenges and pursue these opportunities. And so the best way that we can prepare is pursue and support and facilitate the work of our faculty, our students. And we can do so by providing a research infrastructure that is modern, agile, and adapting. So if you look at the Research Innovation Office and its 4 pillars of research operation and administration, research security and integrity, research strategy and development, and innovation and partnerships, we're aligning all of our expertise to continue to evolve and be able to meet the moment. So in terms of innovation and partnership, we have, this is an umbrella that is now including venture partners, our commercialization and tech transfer endeavors. I'll talk more about that. The innovation and entrepreneurship for giving our students the ability to get engaged early in innovation and to pursue careers in the space, workforce development, and the newly established industry research partnership that is really seeking to work and expand our ability to engage with our industry partners. And so this is a new team, the IRP, that is dedicated to supporting industry-sponsored research partnership and to make us a R&D partner with our industrial counterparts, and also to integrate our students and their workforce development goals as part of these partnerships that are very In terms of research development over the past year, we have focused on aligning our campus research strengths with the national priorities. As I've indicated, and they're listed, AI, quantum, space weather, biosciences are all areas that are aligned with the priorities and that we're really good at. So we're working on how we can best pursue these opportunities. We're strengthening our support for large-scale proposals, for interdisciplinary work. We're continuing to support the seeding on new ideas through our seed grant program that it's now an established mechanism to support faculty and early-stage ideas and collaborations. The AB Nexus, the New Frontier programs, those are really intended to stimulate new ideas and new thoughts with our faculty. We've expanded and integrated our research development team this year, and then in terms of also providing more research, one-to-one consultations on research and research opportunities that there may be. And the focus is, yes, we want to win as many proposals as we want, but we also want to create pathways whereby our faculty and researchers learn how to pursue large opportunities and how to create large collaboration, how to lead large teams. So it's an investment not just in the proposals that we win, but it's an investment in the people. So we're strengthening and integrating our faculty development efforts, our faculty fellow, the PI Academy, and so on. And finally, through additional expansion, also we're facilitating meaningful partnerships that connect research excellence with public good, which is a key part of our mission as a university. And we've heard some great stories about that earlier on from Sona. So we are continuing and doubling down on our initiative. This is how we kind of look at what's next, but we've invested in these initiatives for a while now. And again, thinking about the priorities, it's interesting to see how our strategic initiatives map pretty well into those priorities. We had Qubit working on quantum, the AB Nexus really strengthening our goals and efforts in biosciences through our collaborations with the medical campus at Anschutz, the national security, as you've seen, the 5 priorities are national securities in all of them effectively, and then our newly established sustainability research initiative. So the National Security Initiative, I believe in the 6th or 7th year, but it really has taken great shape and it's grown in a very substantial part of our campus that's supporting 64 active research programs today. It's growing a team and attracting talent in the team. We have, it counts 52 total personnel. That includes researchers and students. It's aligning the vision towards strategic opportunities with a focus on space security, security in space. And it's leading the effort for campus to create an infrastructure on campus or close to campus that can support secure research environments. The Sustainability Research Initiative is an effort that is supported in collaboration by RIO, the Leeds School of Business, the College of Engineering, and the Provost Office. And it started maybe less than a year ago and has now completed a sort of an analysis of our strengths and where are our strengths in sustainability. And so, AI, data center, carbon management, climate and health, monitoring sustainability outcomes. It has onboarded 7 faculty fellows that will help the sustainability initiative identify strategic efforts and opportunities, and is fully well integrated with the campus-wide sustainability focus that the chancellor has indicated as defined as one of the priorities. The research security and integrity team continues to adapt. That's a very challenging environment with the government regulations changing and being sometimes very uncertain. They worked on making progress in streamlining the IRB processes and the export control reviews. They're supporting security training for faculties and researchers, making sure that we don't get in trouble, we don't run into liabilities for our campus, which include, for example, international shipping. That's an area that it's full of potential liabilities that we have to pay attention to, as well as being part of conversations on our control and unclassified information handling. And that's also something that we have to adapt with the national environment adapting along these lines. All of this is sort of supported by our research operation and administrations. This is a team that does a lot of work, almost behind the scene, but it's essential work in terms of supporting human resource needs, finance needs, budget, and operational support. So just by reading these words, you can see how critical it is to ensure that we continue to operate at a level that we are operating. And then the Program Management Office is now a sustainable organization that helps support complex projects and the evolving needs of our faculty in this space. And then I just have a bullet, but I should have huge number of slides of Office of Contracts and Grants. They've been in the front line of the federal actions and the response and how to work with PIs and how to adapt and how to manage the shutdown. So that's been a huge effort that has been conducted in excellent ways throughout the year and continues to do so. So the infrastructure that we have in place and the initiative we promote are leading to impactful discoveries, advancements in areas that reflect the true comprehensive nature of our university. We are unique in that front. We're a very comprehensive institution. And so it's also important for us to think about why we're here. And we've heard earlier a presentation on the Crown Institute. This is what we're here to do. This is what we're here to support. And I have some more examples for you to see what the Research Innovation Office, what we do, and what the university enables. Because it's really important to keep that in mind. At the end of the day, we're here for a specific set of reasons that are deeper than the work that we do on a daily basis. So for example, I had the fortune a couple of weeks ago to be down at Cape Canaveral and look at the launch of IMAP, the Interstellar Mapping and Acceleration Probe, which is a spacecraft which is equipped with 10 instruments that it's going to study the heliosphere, which is a bubble that includes the solar system. And the understanding of the solar sphere is critical to understanding space weather. So those coronal ejections and electromagnetic storms that have jammed GPS a couple of years ago and caused billions of dollars of damage can be better understood and predicted early so that countermeasures can be activated by instrumenting or launching instruments to study space weather. So LASP designed and built, and the Interstellar Dust Experiment is one of those 10 experiments that is out there, and it's supporting the science operations for the entire team. We were also proud to the accomplishment of the team by Zia Marabi, who was one of 3 awardees internationally of the Frontiers Planet Prize. And they were awarded $1 million to continue studies that were initially published in the journal Science. And they found that diversifying crops and animals and improving habitats, soil and water conservation on individual farms can increase biodiversity while improving yields. And they're going to continue the study, and I'm very proud that we're one of 3 globally to have been recognized, our university is, to be recognized with this prestigious prize. Our faculty continue to demonstrate, in addition to winning worldwide awards, to demonstrate extraordinary reach internationally by receiving Fulbright fellowships. And through their creative work that makes connection internationally, they are awarded fellowships with institutions like Stanford and the American Council of Learned Societies to deepen community-engaged research and to secure support from global programs such as programs from Japan, Europe, to explore cultural and technological frontiers. These awards reflect what I mentioned earlier, the comprehensive nature of our work. We're not necessarily a technology institute, a science institute. We are that and more. And these projects here illuminate everything from fossil records to AI in the arts to political sciences. And we've heard, again, the impact of our social scientists, from helping easing postpartum depression through peer support, helping communities rebuild after natural disasters and continue to thrive, and enhancing safety in K-12 schools. This is all work that is ongoing here that has immediate impact into the community. Closer to home and not too far from here, about 45 minutes drive, up in the mountains is the Mountain Research Station. It sits about 9,500 feet and then extends up to the Niwot Ridge. It dates back to 1908. It was established by Francis Romali, and it's in its original site since 1920. And they host key projects like the long-term ecological research program, which is funded by the National Science Foundation here since 1980. And then it maintains the second longest continuous record of atmospheric CO2. The first one in the US, and probably the third or fourth across the world. And they're allowing, that continuous record allows to monitor CO2 oscillation seasonally as long as long-term trends. And this data set dates back to 1967. Our AI work continues to be well recognized. You may know the NSF AI Institute for Student AI Teaming was renewed for an additional 5 years, which is incredible given the environment. This is reaching thousands of middle school students. And I would say also anticipates the hype on AI. A lot of the work that they've done precedes all of the big splashes that have been coming since then on AI, and it's continuing for 5 more years, which is outstanding. But we're applying AI in enhanced weather protection, in guiding drones, in challenging environments, and in rescue operation and improving healthcare in AI, using AI. This all feeds an incredible pipeline of innovation and investigation. So we need the basic research, but we need to think about the entire spectrum of innovation and discovery, from the fundamental science to the application. And we're being more recognized more than ever in this space. So we are experiencing a startup surge here at CU Boulder. In 2024, we were venture partner launched 36 startups only, and it wasn't a blip. This year was 23. So these numbers are outstanding. To have on average on an average 20 startups per year, it's remarkable. And it's also remarkable to see the industry verticals these startups exist or launch, from sustainability to medical devices, pharmaceuticals, photonics and quantum, aerospace, and goes on. The list goes on. So what does that mean, 35, 36 startups, 20 startups, in absolute sense? Well, it means we're number one. And again, the venture partner team has done this in a relatively short time, and this is incredible. There was never another university besides Stanford in 2022 that launched more startups that Boulder did. And again, it wasn't a blip, so 20 startups per year. Were probably the most efficient startup creator university, with 5.1 startup for every $100 million of research funding. So the pipeline is there, the pipeline exists, and we need to ensure that these startups are successful. And some examples are very new companies like Reviewer Zero, that is applying AI to improve research publication or to assess research publication integrity. Precision Terra won the NVC, the New Venture Challenge, last year, and is receiving pre-seed funding to supplement and support GPS in challenging environments through software tools. And then Flaretech is a result of multiple programs that we have at CU, from AB Nexus to other programs in venture partner, taking frequency comb, which is one of the Nobel Prize winning technologies, and apply it to a breath analyzer that helps detect minuscule traces of viruses and other chemical compounds. And the same technologies, the same core technology has driven LongPath Technology to become a well-established company now in Boulder that employs probably more than 50 people. They received a loan, preferential loan from the Department of Energy last year, about $170 million, to deploy their technology in oil fields for methane detection in states like Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Colorado, of course, Wyoming, and so on. So these are from very early stages to companies that are getting really established and making a name for themselves in the country. And we hope that someday, not too far in the distant future, some of these companies join the cohort of CU Boulder unicorn companies, which are privately held companies that are evaluated at $1 billion or more. And these are just 4 examples, starting from Amgen, that was technically is not a startup from CU Boulder, but it was, as co-founder, Marv Carruthers is a professor, who was a professor in biochemistry, so at CU Boulder. And you all know, probably Amgen is almost a household name. Solid Power is a company that came out of mechanical engineering for solid-state batteries. SomaLogic came out of, again, of BioFrontiers, founded by Larry Gold. And most recently, Inflection, formerly known as Quanta, that came out of Gila and is announced its plan to go public with an evaluation of $1.8 billion. And that's obviously, as you probably know, a company in the quantum space that is developing devices for quantum computing, advanced navigation systems, and inertial sensors. So we're hoping that some of these companies that I've shown earlier will soon be in this cohort, and we have, I believe, 10 of those so far. So additional numbers to give the sense of the size. In 23, 24, our companies raised almost $500 million in capital. The revenue that's generated that's brought back in the university is about $32 million. That most of it gets all reinvested into the support of startups and commercialization. The economic impact estimates coming from a study from the Leeds School of Business is $8 billion nationally between 2018 and 2022. So that's a remarkable number. $5.2 billion at the state level. So what we invest in each of these companies comes back and pays off not just us, but it pays off the state and creates jobs for students and beyond. And so, like I said, it's a whole trajectory from fundamental basic research to really impactful technologies. And as an example on how we can do this better, how we can do this more, and it's not just, it doesn't end with the university itself and what we do on campus. We have to think about how we interface with our community. And one excellent case study, because of the ongoing national priority and because of excellent history in this space, is quantum technology. I just want to show, this is to me an example of what can be done in multiple verticals. Quantum is where we're leading, where we're well known for. And it's not just against CU Boulder. We're developing a quantum campus, if you will, that expands beyond our campus proper. And it started with our collaboration from NIST and Gila that were brought together. That goes back to 1962. It created a lot of groundbreaking technologies. But then a few years back, maybe 5 or 6 years back, everybody recognized that there's an engineering component to it. We need to create devices that then can be utilized in applications. So the Quantum Engineering Initiative was launched in the College of Engineering and Applied Science to supplement this sort of combination of NIST and GILA and to provide that engineering perspective. And then in the last couple of years, we secured the major award of the National Quantum Nanofab, that is a national unique facility for fabrication of quantum devices. And then last year, in January, we had the ribbon cutting ceremony for our quantum incubator, which is a facility that, again, it's off campus, northeast of here, about 3 or 4 miles. So the National Quantum Nanofab facility is a NSF mid-scale funding from the National Science Foundation, about $20 million, that supports the establishment of a fabrication facility that is expanding CoSync, the CoSync facility that is now existing in the building next door. And in order to win this proposal, the team had to demonstrate that this was going to be a national facility. So not something that everybody has, but it's going to create unique capabilities. And it's going to put us in front of the competition having this. And the plan is for this to be online in 2028. Hopefully that will meet that timeline. But again, this is a distinguishing factor of what we're capable of doing here at the university. And I mentioned the quantum incubator. Here's the address. It's again, it's not on campus. It's in a big development known as Flatiron Park. You probably have heard of it. There's a number of ventures there. Apple is there, and it's an interesting, buzzing location in Boulder. And we're creating this space to provide an opportunity for our faculty to collaborate with companies, for our startups to have a space where they can start the journey in their commercialization. So a place where they may find equipment, they may find support and partners to begin their work, de-risking technologies, finding devices, and again, work with companies side by side. So I'm really excited about this. We're again, in some ways, ahead of the game. Here I was just contacted from somebody from Chicago that they're kind of trying to chase us in this race, and they asked me to come and say, how did you do it? How did you get there so quickly? And so I'm almost done, so thank you for your keeping up with me and your attention. So as we come close to today's presentation, I want to again stop and reflect and pause on the question that it's at the heart of this presentation to me is, why are we all here? And to me, we're here to create knowledge. And we want to create knowledge and make it matter. We're here to teach, and we're here to learn. We're here to question. We're here to discover. We're here to imagine what does not yet exist and bring it to life. Every chart, every dollar that I've shown, I haven't shown many dollars, but every data point that we discuss represents something really deeper than that. A student that has found their calling in a lab or discovered new career opportunities. A faculty that turned an idea into a breakthrough. A staff member that helped establish a partnership that now it's sparking innovation here in the Front Range and beyond. So I truly believe that we've built an ecosystem that is collaborative, creative, and compassionate. In doing so, I think we've built something that's really valuable, which is we're sharing a purpose. I think this purpose is what keeps us motivated. It's what keeps CU Boulder at the leading edge of science, creativity, and social impact. And I think it's that shared purpose that keeps us all connected and keeps us connected to the community that we serve. So thank you very much. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.